I mean, everything. The idea that Donald Trump was trying to protect a squeaky or project a squeaky clean image is just so funny. He was like, if people find out I had consensual sex with this sex worker, it's going to ruin me. Meanwhile, he's out there doing everything else under the sun. So I think that aspect of it is where they're going to try to get the appeal. That's going to be one of the points of the appeal. Obviously, he filed immediately, right? Where they're like, well, that could also be unanimous.
Yeah, in the law, though, Ben, to let you know.
Don't touch anything.
It's the greatest find yet. Nothing compares to it.
But it's definitely something you should hear.
This is The Real Deal with Larry Lawton.
Hey, everybody, Larry Lawton here. I got a great video. I got a special guest who is back, and we love him. Here is Ben Kissel, who's coming out with the Ben Kissel Show on June 3rd. Yes, we got him right before his show airs. Come up. Ben, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me back. And I've changed. I've reversed in age. My hair is gone and my double chin is strong.
You know, Ben, when you come, people don't know your size, obviously.
Right.
You know, you're a big man. I show the picture of you in my RV next to me, and people go, Larry, you're 250. You look tiny to him.
That's what I do to people. I make them feel better about themselves when they take pictures with me.
Perfect. You know, I said I got to have them take pictures with him.
That's better than Ozempic. You don't need Ozempic. Just take a picture with me, and you're gonna look tiny as hell. You're gonna feel great, and you'll. Who needs to lose weight when you got someone my size standing next to you?
Listen, Ben, your size, your heart's bigger than your size, and I know that.
It's a medical problem.
I have a question, Ben. You're starting a new podcast called The Ben Kissel Show. Can you tell
channel? Yeah,
what it's going to be about, when it's going to air, how people can do it? You have a Patreon. You're one of the best podcasters. I listened to you before. Obviously, you moved on from whatever you do. You are just an amazing and very knowledgeable. I'm not just saying
thank you.
Either.
So Ben,
we're going to touch on subjects.
Let's touch on it. So Ben Kissel channel, that's going to be me and my friend Sheikh Nar. That's going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Keeping it light, keeping it loose, keeping it fun. It's going to be on YouTube and then all the podcast platforms. I just want to make people laugh, tell stupid ass stories, and read stupid ass news stories and have a good time. And obviously we'll touch on some serious things as they come and go, but I really want this to be a respite from all the bullshit that's going on in the world right now. I mean, we just had, the Trump conviction. It's going to lead to a lot of anger on all sides, and there's just a lot of divisiveness going on. So I want this show to be someplace that people can go to and just chill out and laugh for 45 minutes to an hour. And, obviously we'll discuss things, but not everything has to be, pitchforks and fires outside of your house when there's a disagreement about politics or cultural things. So I just want that to be cool. And then my Patreon, that's $7 a month. You can just go to Patreon, Ben Kissel channel, and that's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. My boy Kyle Plouffe from Death and Entertainment is going to produce, and there I will touch a little bit more on politics and kind of get in the weeds of, policy and all that boring shit that a lot of people don't like. So if you do like it, please join my Patreon, and I'll try to make it as entertaining as humanly frickin' possible.
So your Patreon is going to have 2 days on its own. Correct?
It will, yeah,
wow.
yeah.
So you're a 5-day-a-week podcaster?
Yeah, I mean, I used to back in my heyday. It's not that long ago. I was doing 9 shows easy a week, so I'm excited to hop back into it, and it's going to be a great motivation to I just want to make people have a good help people have a good time, and it's my passion, so I'm excited to hop back into it.
I'm so glad you're getting back in there. I really am, because for a few reasons. One, you're probably one of the best researched or people who come to the table with a lot of knowledge. And
I do read a lot. Surprisingly, I read. A lot of people don't think I'm literate, but I do read.
I read. That's what it is. People say, Larry, you still read. Nick even complains. He goes, you read ingredients in the shopping center when you're there. It's something that, I didn't grow up with everything thrown at you in a video,
hey, man, we should probably all be reading a little bit more of the ingredients in the products that we're buying. And apparently they're giving us all cancer. So, maybe we want to know what's up.
Ben, when I was a kid, it was eggs that made you weren't supposed to eat too many eggs. Then it was too much coffee. You know what? I think we're all predisposed of when we're going to drop dead, give or take 4 or 5 years, one way or the other.
Hey man, look at Morgan Spurlock, R.I.P. The dude from Super Size Me died of cancer. I think he was 53. And I was doing I was just looking into his life a little bit. Great documentarian. Believe it or not, if you eat McDonald's 3 meals a day and you supersize it every damn time, you do get fat. Wasn't the most shocking of revelations in the documentary. But man, if he was holding up a Big Mac, right? This is from 2003, I think, something like that. And that Big Mac looks so fucking good. These Big Macs nowadays are so damn small. The Big Mac that he had lettuce flowing from the outside of it. You could see the meat. You could see everything. And I was like, those were the good old days. In hindsight, we had no idea what we had back when McDonald's Big Mac was actually the biggest of all the Macs.
Yeah, he did die. I think there was someone else who did that too, and he also gained a lot of weight. I think there were a few. That's what I'm remembering. And I'll tell you what, though, I love documentaries. That's personally what I like. I also like those First Amendment audits and stuff. I don't know if you ever watch those, where they test the police with your Fourth Amendment, your Second Amendment, your First Amendment.
Oh, sure.
I love those because I'm a law. I'm into the law. But
right
now, Ben, we talk. We're going to touch on a few subjects today, if that's all right with you. First of all, this we really tape pretty much close to where we're going. So this is airing tomorrow morning. Your show is going to be airing Monday.
Yeah, well, I'm going to film it on Monday, record Monday, and then it'll be released Tuesday. So, filmed Monday, released Tuesday, Wednesday, released Thursday, Friday, released Saturday.
So you're really just playing one day ahead kind of deal, like
right?
Not like we're doing now, like pretty much what we're Yeah, a lot better. So yeah, and I'll tell you what. I want you to give me your take on today. Just happened. Donald Trump was convicted on 34 counts in this.
Right.
I'm gonna ask. I want to hear your opinion, and I want to hear your thoughts on that first, and then I'll give you mine.
Well, I guess we got to respect the jury of your peers. Unless they were presidents, I don't think they were his peers. It's a strange situation, to say the least. First time any president has ever been convicted of a felony. It is interesting because we had some charged. It is interesting because we've had some presidents that owned slaves, and they just somehow got to go and die peacefully in whatever mountain town they're from. But the jury had an interesting series of charges to discuss. And one of the things that I thought was interesting, so obviously you need to have unanimous juries. You need all 12 to be like, yeah, he's guilty on these 34 counts. But apparently the judge said they did not have to be unanimous on the second kind of key component to all this, which is that he had that Stormy Daniels payment in order to help him in the 2016 election. So that they didn't have to be unanimous at. So it could have been like, yeah, he's guilty on that. We all agree. But maybe, just 7 out of the 12 said, well, it's because of, the fact he wanted to protect himself in the 2016 election, which is the biggest irony of all time, because, the guy had so many holes in his boat. He puttied up a couple of them, but then you got the Access Hollywood tape. Everything. The idea that Donald Trump was trying to protect a squeaky or project a squeaky clean image is just so funny. He was like, if people find out I had consensual sex with this sex worker, it's going to ruin me. Meanwhile, he's out there doing everything else under the sun. So I think that aspect of it is where they're going to try to get the appeal. That's going to be one of the points of the appeal. Obviously, he filed immediately, right? Where they're like, well, that could also be unanimous.
Yeah, in the law, though, Ben, to let you know, all appeals happen automatically. Usually.
Right.
The other thing, you're right, it had to be in furtherance of something else, just the hush money, the way they called it or whatever is. I'm not.
Well, I'll just say it didn't work. Stormy's been screaming, and I would go watch her perform right now. But man, she did not hush.
Do you know, Ben? Listen, I take no sides. I really don't in this. I'm a libertarian to begin with, so I could care less about a lot of that. But truthfully, I think that was a bullshit case, and I'll tell you why. Who cares that he spent money or anybody's money? You don't have a victim. And here's what I mean by that. Now, if they really believe and they charge them with interfering with the election, that's a whole different animal.
Right.
But they didn't. He was charged with that other crime, and that's what.
Well, and then of course that would be the Georgia case brought by Fannie Willis, and that's a whole nother thing.
Well, you know what happens in Florida, Ben? They only use 6 jurors.
Mm.
It's one of only a few states, and unless it's a capital crime, and there's no capital crime.
Well, now in Florida's defense, they might be on crystal meth, and when you're on meth, you're thinking for 2. That's 12 jurors. I mean, hell, they might be thinking for 3. They might have 20 or so on there.
You damn right. This is Florida. You know, all the crazy videos come right out of here. I love it. I go, the first time I see a video, I go, up Florida, where?
What part? Exactly. That's why I can't wait for GTA 6 to come out. It's all set in Florida. Man, I'm just going to live that lifestyle.
Miami, you know, I'll be playing that hard. You know, I was pretty doing a lot. We have a server coming out. We have a whole bunch of stuff like that, GTA server, and a bunch of stuff coming out. You know,
I love it. I love it.
Fun. So here's my problem with it. In Donald Trump's case, you really have no victim. Now, if the people who donated the money complain, hey, listen, I didn't donate it for a porn stuff. Not one person has come forward and says, hey, I want my money back, or anything like that. I mean, listen, we know he pays all his legal bills with it. He does all this. Right, wrong, or indifference. It's not against the law.
Well, hey, if we're going to prosecute a politician for spending campaign funds poorly, I mean, we still have Bob Menendez, gold bar Bobby. He's still a senator. The dude has gold bars from a foreign government in his house. He's a criminal moron. He's like a James Bond villain reject. I mean, so yes, I think that's where a lot of
the first one was the gold bars.
Yep. And so I think that's what a lot of people also see here. They kind of see a double standard. And again, I'm with you. I was not a juror in there. I did not sit in that courtroom. So I'm going to trust that process, because if we don't trust the process, we don't have a country, and god dang, we're hanging on by a thread as it is. But it's the hypocrisy I think a lot of people see. And that's why, again, the first thing that happened was, let's go fundraise off of this. The first thing the Trump campaign did was fundraise. The first thing the Biden campaign did was fundraise. This is a moneymaker at the end of the day.
Isn't that sad? We're talking about, first of all, it just blows my mind that we have a 78 and an 81 or 2 guys running for president. I honestly believe there should be an age requirement. They have one for 35, you know, to be the president, 30, 25 congressmen. I think they should have maybe a cap of 70, 75. We can't have these guys that are just really. Biden looks like he's feeble. I mean, come on. And then,
well, it's a national security risk. And also, you know, I'm so sick and tired of every damn 4 years this being how scared everyone is about the Supreme Court. Because we got Alito, who I think is 71. You know, all these people, they're so damn old, and they hold us hostage. Every 4 years, it's like, well, this old bat's gonna die, and so if you elect this old crazy person, then they're gonna put another old bat in there. We're like it's just so sad that we have to worry about all these Supreme Court justices dying or whatever in office, and then who's gonna replace them? You know, so it just makes people frustrated.
Well, here's a little food for thought on the Supreme Court. What I've learned in doing a lot of law in a lot of cases is, it seems like when a judge becomes a Supreme Court justice, obviously federal judge, Supreme Court justice, you're God in essence. I mean, literally, you have to be impeached by Congress to get off the bench. It's not happened ever. You'd have to really do something egregious to really be kicked off the bench. You really would, Supreme Court. Now, and if you noticed, if you remember Chief Judge Roberts, when he went and he actually sided with the Obamacare, and he actually was the biggest.
Right.
Remember that? And then McCain gave the thumbs up and down to, to support it again when they tried to pass a law. And what it showed me was, even though he was a very, very conservative judge, the weight of that office, you have nobody to worry about. You could put the president in jail. They do. So my point, you have nothing to worry about. You're going to just go with your conscience. Now going up to that, as you can see with all the stuff against Kavanaugh. Again, I'm not a big lover of certain judges, but don't bring up something that happened 30 years ago, because what's going to happen when I run for president and they bring up my past? You're going to be my vice president, again, so you got to handle it.
In modern America, that's your campaign. I stole diamonds. Now I'm going to steal your heart. I'm about to, whatever. You know what to do. Also, by the way, speaking of diamonds, I'm holding one of these very fine cigars.
Oh, man!
If you're a newbie to cigars like me, look at this fresh face. Look at this. I feel so bad being in this prison with you. You better defend me. You better
You
protect me.
like the background, huh?
I'm horrified, but I love these cigars, and I'm going to smoke one as soon as the show's over. I had never thought I would be a cigar guy, but man, these things, they don't give you, like, sometimes you can get a headache or something like that. They're like the sativa, like what sativa joints are. They are that to cigars.
Keep the guy too. I like to stay up, not the indigo. It's
Exactly.
Ben, thank you on that in the comment. We do get such great reviews, and here's why I like. I've been smoking cigars for 40 years. I can smoke 5 of these. You can't smoke 5 Patrons.
Nope.
The aftertaste, the harshness. I don't even feel like it's like they're smooth. They go, and it's like, you know how I knew that right when I went on a golf course with my own cigar, and I made it. Obviously, I know what I like. But my point is, even though you know it, you make it, and it isn't going to come out the way you did.
Exactly.
And it has every one of them. It's amazing.
What?
I went to Nicaragua, and I went into the fields. I had an escort, a driver, a security, an interpreter, and my couple of us went there, and boy, did we learn a lot and understand.
So cool. I love it.
Which is cool. And
Well, look at you. You're already doing clandestine missions. You know how to golf. You might as well be president now.
Why not? I mean, the president's golf. Man, I think I'd be worse than anybody. I think what happened? Give it to the Joint Chiefs.
You know what? Literally, and there would just be a bunch of kids who are stoned as hell.
You'd be on my cabinet.
Hey, that's just fine with me. But it is sad. Back in the day, remember back in the day, what do you want to be when you grow up? Senator, president, officer, police officer, military person. Being president now is such a nasty ass job. It's attracting nasty ass people. We got, Congress folks in there talking about eyelashes and dumb shit like that. I mean, my dad's an immigrant, so I think he really instilled like the American dream, the American vision, American democracy, all this stuff. And in theory, I love it. I love the idea of America. But then you look at Washington and you're like, who the hell let the circus in town? Give me a damn elephant. I mean, there's a reason that their mascots are an elephant and a damn donkey, because they're just piling shit on shit on shit in Washington. And I think it's just driving people nuts. It's just sad that people look at the president now like, who the hell would ever be scummy enough to want that?
Don't you ever think that with Trump? Why would you want to be a billionaire and take that job? Really?
Dude, I really wonder if you could take a time machine and be like, brother, on top of the escalator before he comes down, be like, brother, just so you know, in about 8 years' time, you're going to be found guilty of 34 felony counts, looking at serious prison time. Do you want to do this? I really think he might have just been like, let's just see if we can't ship The Apprentice off to Fox.
You know something? I don't think he's going to do a day of time on this.
Well, I mean, after the appeal, and then again, I don't know what the polling data right now, and everyone looks at the national polling data. Who gives a fuck? It's about the swing states, Minnesota, Minnesota,
Arizona,
blue, but Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, in the Midwest, those states. I don't know how it's going to play, because again, now in this bizarre world, there's going to be some people who have sympathy for this billionaire megalomaniac who fucked over every single person he could on the way to the top. But now they're like, well, the justice system has it out for him. So, dude, it's a crapshoot at best.
What do you say about people who will tell you, and this happens all the time to me, but was the economy better under Trump? Was the country in better shape under Trump?
Well, why did he get booed at the Libertarian Convention? He also supported lockdowns. So he was the beginning of the economy struggling that we're doing, the struggling economy that we're living in now. We're still in, the hangover of COVID and those lockdowns. Shrinkflation is real. Like I was talking about with that damn Big Mac, those things are so freaking small right now. Little Mac, it's like he should be fighting Mike fucking Tyson and Tyson Punch Out. They're Little Macs now. And so people do not feel like the economy is going well because it's not. It might be doing well for your stocks. I have stocks. I want that to do well. Fantastic. But when I go to the grocery store and you're trying to buy eggs and they're $20 damn and you have an actual family, I'm also blessed. I have a dog. He's fine. You know, I can feed that little guy. But if you have a family, how do you do it? So yeah, what? And I'm so sick of people blaming the victim, which is the American consumer, when they're like, well, it's just in your head. It's like, no, motherfucker. When I'm spending $400 at Costco for what I got for $200, 5 years ago, it's not in my head. It's in my wallet.
But it's not just that. It's rent is skyrocketing.
Absolutely.
I had an electric bill today, and I'm blown away. $390 for this little 1,800 square foot house. I go, are you kidding me? What is everything has gone through the roof. Forget insurances and all the other.
Right.
I'm even talking basic necessities. Your water bills, your electric bill, your rent. We own the house.
Well, and then speaking of the water bill, it'd be real nice if the water that came out of the tap was clean and not full of lead.
I don't know if that's lead anymore, does it, Ben?
Well, I don't know. Well, look at, obviously, people think of Michigan and they think of Flint, but Flint is just one. That's just the Chicago of poisoned water. That's just one of many examples. Yeah, there's poisoned water all over this place. A lot of fracking causing it, a lot of stuff happening. So you pay a water bill, but they don't got to clean the damn stuff.
All right, Ben. I agree with you. First of all, I don't think any politician should be in office over the age. They're in office for 40 years, 30 years.
What are they doing? Get the fuck out of there and go back to being a pharmacist.
They did back in the day. They went back to the farm. We had no term limits for the president all the way up to 1950. 1950, and no president took more than 2 terms.
No, that's not true. We had our one cat that did, I think, 3, right?
No, I said only one up to 1950.
Oh, yeah.
And that was Roosevelt.
Yeah, what, 3 or 4, something like that. Huh?
Yeah. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. You ended up in a wheelchair and all that. He was 4 terms, actually.
He was stressed.
he was in war. I mean, obviously, at the end, 1939 and then 41 when we got into war. But how would Ben Kissel fix this, let's call it political issue right now? Because a lot of people ask me, what would you do, Lat? What would you do different? How do you kick him out, number one, if you can kick him out? And then how do you get people to get back into that American? They all want us to be gung-ho American.
Right.
When you see these people stall and everything, they can't agree on Trump's telling them to stop a bill on the border wall that they agreed with a few months ago.
It's all political. It's disgusting.
It drives me nuts.
And at this point, this is like a shoelace that has the knot that you're trying to untangle, and you might just have to take a pair of scissors and cut the damn thing off and get a new pair of laces, because it's so intertwined. There's so much money. The bureaucracy is so big. And you think, oh, bureaucracy, this is people's lives that they are going to defend until they die, because this is how they make their money. You're going to get rid of, all of a sudden, you're going to get rid of, all the folks, the lobbyists and things like that. You can say it, and that's why the libertarians booed Donald Trump, because he didn't get rid of any of the swamp that he said he was going to get rid of. But they ain't going to go peacefully into the night. It's the same thing as when Hillary Clinton told it's the same thing when Hillary Clinton told the coal workers, I'm going to put you out of jobs. I'm going to take away your work. No one is allowing someone to take their livelihood without a fight. And these lobbyists that work for these corporations, it's your corporatocracy. I mean, they write the bills, and these politicians, these schmucks who are bought and sold, sign the damn things. So it's so easy to say. And I mean, I don't know how the hell you do it, because there's so much money at hand.
And it's so ingrained now. It's not like
it is,
especially even with crypto. I interviewed a guy, and he was a lobbyist. He says he gave over 100 politicians 100 money in crypto. So it's in a wallet, so it's
right,
traceable. And if that's one guy, what are they really doing? I mean,
that's
who was told to me, Ben, you'll like this. It says, Larry, forget what you know, what you think you know. Just follow what the politicians are going to do. He goes,
oh, dude. There's a guy on Twitter or X or whatever. He just follows Nancy Pelosi's stock trades, copies exactly what she does. He's making bank.
Matter of fact, it's so funny you said that, because when that all happened and they talked about that, They says it doesn't matter. You can track them. Number one, like you said,
Yeah.
they all see. There's a lot of talk right now, Ben, about, of course, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, how the government's going to regulate it and get involved and all that. Well,
They're going to get their cut.
When I heard that this guy gave 100 politicians, you don't think the politicians are going to favor that law to maybe have a 30-day grace period?
Absolutely.
So
Bro,
just follow what they do, you win.
it reminds me of what happened with Uber and Michael Bloomberg. So Bloomberg, huge with the taxi union, and obviously the taxi landlord, for those that don't know, you would have to buy it for like $1 million, right? And to get that,
you're talking a medallion, Nicola.
yeah, yes, a medallion, right? And Uber comes in, obviously a superior way of getting a cab, and Bloomberg says, no, we're going to block it in the city until he moves $300 million of his own money into Uber stock. And then, whoa, what happened? Uber is welcomed in the city. The medallions go down to about $1,000 a piece. People are literally jumping off of bridges, and they've lost everything because of it. And that is simply because Bloomberg was like, no, you can't come in until I'm going to make some money off of it. And welcome to New York.
Well, you're 100%. I know a lot about the medallion because I know a couple of people owned them, and usually it was corporations that were buying them, and then they were leasing people, and that's how the medallions were worth. I'm from there, so I remember guys who, I want to get my own medallion. I want to get my medallion like it was the biggest thing.
Right.
Wow, you talk about it. They actually went from $1 million. I think it's now 150,000. I mean, it's low. So you lost 10.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's crazy. But let's face it, if we do everything for the consumer or the person, you follow that route, taxi cabs are getting crazy. They still are crazy in New York. They still have them, And
right.
I don't even I got in one the other day, last time I was in New York a couple months ago I was like, it was like $28 to go 5 blocks. And I take an Uber and it was like $9. I said, am I missing? Why are these guys in business?
Well, Larry, the bigger issue is, why aren't you just walking 5 blocks? Come on, buddy. We got to start walking more.
All right. I'm not going to pull the disability card, which I have, but you are right, Ben. I got to lose weight.
Dude, I mean, that's the nicest thing since I shaved. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm the only thing that doesn't have shrinkflation. So this is good. This is going to be good for me to lose some weight because I can look at my damn double chin all day.
Did you lose any?
I'm trying to angle myself to make it look good.
Did you lose any?
Yeah, I've lost a little bit. I've lost about 15 pounds.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
I'm walking.
Like I said, I'm at 252. So I got to get down to 220, 218. I'm a fucking midget. I'm 5 foot. Everybody thinks I'm 6 foot something. You know why? Because I keep my chair high. It's like DeSantis with the elevator shoes.
Oh my God. By the way, that's another thing, man. Did you see, speaking of warmongers, did you see Nikki Haley? This is why people get so pissed. She signed that damn bomb. Did you see that?
No.
Nikki Haley signed a bomb that was going to be sent over to Israel, and it said, finish them all. America loves Israel, signed Nikki Haley. This bitch. This is going to go destroy people. And it was the day after.
Like that, who's supposed to be representing all the people.
Exactly. And it was the day after, I think, 112 or whatever. The numbers are always higher than they report. Innocent pallet. And again, I don't want to get into human life is being lost, and that's what we should focus on. You got 110 innocent people killed, and you got this fucking person in a tower signing bombs like it's some goddamn pen pal with Netanyahu. I mean, it's just disgusting.
You're right. Ben, I also look at that, and of course, I've had some experts on here too as well. You don't ever hear about the Russia-Ukraine war now.
No, it's passé. Who cares? And they just
shame. That's really a shame.
Well, and now there's so many damn conflicts going on that they're rolling it all up into one bill. So, my friend Jazzy, she's a military family. Both of her older brothers, one's in Bahrain, the other one, we don't know where he is because that's how high up he is. He can't say where he is. But, they don't want to be there. Everyone is on edge. And for these politicians to just be making cash off of it, making stupid ass political rhetoric out of it. And now all of a sudden, if you don't support every war the U.S. is about to get into, currently 2, which there will be more. I mean, look what just happened in Iran when the president's helicopter miraculously crashed. I mean, that shit wasn't on accident.
Yeah, it's a zoo out there right now.
So now what they're going to do is the same thing they did with the Patriot Act. It's going to be the same fucking thing where everything is going to be lumped together. And you can say, well, I'm not for the Ukraine war, but I really love Israel. So it doesn't even matter. It's all gonna get done.
You know, that's such a shame because when you say I'm a big rights guy, whether it's the audit stations or whatever, your YouTube or whatever, I believe in our rights, and they are eroding so quickly our rights. I love the guys who keep pushing them because we need people to show, hey, listen, you keep giving up. I love people who say, oh, it's a cop, just give him your info. No, hold on, give him that. Next time he comes to the house, let him in. No.
My favorite thing is, well, if you don't do anything wrong, you shouldn't be scared of the law. Well, dipshit, they are going to criminalize every single thing that you do. So you've done something wrong. Maybe you didn't think you did. Maybe morally, you don't have a problem with, going out and banging, sex workers of the night. Fantastic people. But legally, you just committed a crime. Is it immoral? That's for you to decide. I would say no. But that doesn't matter. So people, I don't commit any crimes. Yeah, you do.
Well, Ben, I said that at one of my speaking engagements. Somebody said, oh, but I don't commit crimes. I said, stop. Did you ever travel 20 miles an hour and over the limit? Passing somebody maybe or something? Oh, I'm sure I did. Well, if you killed someone doing that, that's vehicular homicide, and you're going to prison.
Absolutely.
It can't happen to you. You're a good guy. You made a mistake. You went a little too fast. You slipped your leg off the thing. It's still vehicular homicide. Somebody died over that. You're going to jail. You're not a bad person. But people, I often say this. Did you know I think the average person commits 3 offenses a day?
Yeah, there's that great book came back a couple of 25 years ago now. 3 felonies a day.
Yeah, and think about it. Jaywalking, stealing pencils from work. I don't get there's zillion things people do.
Yeah.
But again, I'm of the ilk to say, I believe personally, Ben, that we have way too many laws in this country. Way too many.
Absolutely.
I think we need common sense. Period. I mean, obviously, killing and robbing it's laws.
Of course.
You don't need to have a law on the book that anal sex is illegal. It's sodomy, or oral sex is sodomy.
No, I mean, I think there needs to be a law in the books that makes it mandatory. But
I do too.
Yeah, but the irony of that is, in order to get rid of those laws, you have to pass laws.
Isn't that crazy? I mean,
so it just keeps on going and going and going.
Sadly, Ben, there is a whole group, of people, period, whether politicians, whether representative company owners of certain, they're making bank on this, and that's why it's not changing.
Absolutely.
You got to remember this, man. Whatever you want to listen, I consider myself we're regular guys. We work hard. We like what we do. We try to open some eyes. We do certain things we can. But then there's so many people out there that are on the fence with a couple of these decisions these politicians make. They really ruin families. People don't know that. They ruin families.
Absolutely.
And it breaks my heart when people don't understand the law like you or I, or understand even politics for that matter.
And you far more than me. But that's why, also it gets caught up in identity politics. If you look at Kamala, which is how you pronounce her name, which I've been told.
You know that's my worst politician in the planet, right?
Yeah, I believe you have mentioned that. But the things that she did to the community, especially the poorer community, it was devastating. She broke up families constantly with her absentee, with her school. When you're absent from school, that was all of a sudden became a large offense where they would take the children away from the families. And then you also have a situation, my friend Shake are going to talk about this on my show, where they just banned menthol cigarettes, and they're doing it under the guise of protecting Black people. But in reality, they've just criminalized another Black activity. That's a small stereotype, but that menthol cigarettes are more, Black people purchase menthol cigarettes more than most demographics. And so you had someone like Al Sharpton who, take it or leave it, but made a great point. There's going to be more Eric Garner situations now. So all of a sudden cops are going out. You can have fucking you can have all the weed you want, but all of a sudden we banned a flavor of cigarettes and that a certain demographic uses, and they use this like, well, it's to protect them. Well, fuck you. They know what they're doing. They're adults.
Same with the Juul, all of the stuff. They try to put so many limitations on things just so they have control over people. During COVID, Ben, I still believe this. I think they kept pushing people to tell them things to do to see how far they could push you.
Oh, it was a social experiment without a doubt.
No question. I mean, I was against a lot of it, and I didn't care because I just didn't go in the store if they made me do something. I was lucky to live in Florida at that time, to be honest, in that regard. But Kamala Harris is, people have no idea. I really researched how, do you know she left 1,000 people in prison after they were cleared of DNA?
Oh my God.
How's that? Listen, the criminal
1,000 people.
The criminal justice community, they don't like Kamala Harris. That's my biggest problem with Joe Biden. If something happens to Joe Biden, look what we got.
Yeah, and that goes back to the age conversation. That's why it's so scary. That's why, we're just being held captive by, in a strange way, death. Death itself is holding this country captive because, that's why, going back to Florida and Ron DeSantis, this Trump, whoever he decides to pick as a VP, that one chick, I forget her name, out of South, Kristi Noem, she's gone because she bragged about killing her fucking dog like some maniac. I never heard of a politician writing that in a book. I can't believe anyone would brag about that. Disgusting. So she's gone. But now there's talk about someone like a Ron DeSantis. And
Nikki Haley, wasn't she mentioned too?
Nikki Haley as well, but she's still running. Technically, she's still getting votes. She has endorsed Trump, but she still is getting votes, but obviously they don't really matter anymore. No. And she's a war hawk who is, I think, sort of undermines sort of some of Trump's more passive views on foreign policy in some ways. So I don't know, but either way, the VP candidates, when they debate, that's almost more important than the presidential debate.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Because, it's amazing right now what's going on. I mean, to me, I'm sitting here saying to myself, are we really having two presidents that I really don't think, I would almost make a wager that one or the two will be passed away by the time 4 years come up. One of them, whether he makes it or not, or whoever it is makes it. And then I look at people like, okay, now you get Donald Trump. Who's he going to take? A DeSantis or this guy? Does it matter? I mean, with Donald Trump. Do you really think Donald Trump could win?
I mean, I have no idea. I think it's very possible. I think anything is possible. This is how bad everything is.
That's sad what you just said to me, Ben, because how can a guy who just got convicted in front of a jury of his peers, suppose, or whatever, 34 counts.
Right. It's insane.
And that guy could be the president of the United States.
It's insane. It's a complete and utter indictment of our entire system.
And that's the problem.
What are you going to do? Nothing. I mean, Robert Kennedy Jr., I think it was $90 million or something he had to pay to get on the ballot in New York. There's this idea that you can just run for president is a total lie. It's so expensive. And don't quote me on that 90 million. I believe I read that, but I know he had to pay a buttload of money to get on the ballot in New York. And you got to do that across the board. So yeah, it's really just devastating for the American people. I was just reading also, Pew just did a poll, speaking with people under the age of 25, 62% of them were already burned out of American politics. They're done with it. And that's technically, as when I was the most politically
62% of Americans?
Of youth are just done with it. Are already done. Yeah. But that's when you're from 18 to like 25. Well, at least that was my college experience. You're supposed to be like into it. You can vote for the first time.
I was a young Republican, then a young Democrat.
Well, hey, I like the second part better because a young Republican sounds horrible. Although times change, I don't know. But that's sad because those are supposed to be the people that are out campaigning, and they're supposed to be like, I love this politician, they're going to make a change. Like when Bernie Sanders had that grassroots support. I don't agree with him on everything, but
another
the
80
support was real.
You know, let's see, Ben, here's my issue with everything. You know, first of all, I understand you're dead right. And here's the problem. And listen, I'm part of it. And I'll tell you why. Nick, you know him well. Nick, the producer here, and hell, you know, Nick's really good.
Yeah.
So Nick says, Larry, I don't vote. I'm not going to vote. And I go,
Well, yeah, because you made him so upset.
he said, he goes, Larry, you're the one who told me how you bought politicians, and I did, and all this. He goes, why should I vote? I said, Nick, I go, you know, this kid's right. I mean,
Yeah.
when your voice really isn't heard, I mean, do you think, first of all, I can't believe that Roe versus Wade was overturned. I really can't.
Insane. And that's a whole nother.
A bunch of white men are going to tell women what to do with their bodies.
Right. And why? But also, it was like, why the fuck are we rehashing this? This stuff was already solved. It's all, and that's, you know, I'm very pro-choice. I don't know what your life is. I don't know why you need to make decisions. I can't tell you that, and nor should any government or state tell you that. It is not in the purview of the state to tell you what you can do.
You're murdering, Ben. You're a murderer.
Call it whatever the fuck you want. It should all be legal.
Well, see, there's my issue again. That we have such a religion. Don't even get me on this one because I'm non-religious. I'm spiritual, but I can't believe that the religious people accepted everything done just to get that Supreme Court just to do it and that is like the government justifying giving Sammy Gravano a pass on 19 murders to get John Gotti.
Right.
It made zero sense to me. It really did. It did, and I knew about that a lot. And I'm at this point now. I get frustrated, Ben. I really do. I know I'm living my life. I'm doing my thing, cigars. We have fun. That's why I do like your levity and your look on things is very rational. Nobody is going to agree on everything. Period.
It's not possible, and that's okay.
That is okay. The minute I hear a politician say, "I'm 100% voting record with this side," you're an asshole.
You're a moron.
It is. Because you cannot tell me there's not good ideas by the Democrats and there's not good ideas by the Republicans. There are. It's just that you're so stuck and stupid, and you're a puppet. Most of them are puppets by whoever's the leader of these houses and the Senate and all that.
Absolutely.
And they tell them which way to vote, or you're never going to get a vote again. We won't support you. It's the politics starts there, man.
There's a great, it's for Man on the Moon, the Jim Carrey not the Jim Carrey document. That's how great he was. Andy Kaufman film starring Jim Carrey, of course. But there's a great moment
about from Taxi.
Yeah, of course. Man on the Moon is a great movie if you haven't seen it. There's a great moment where Shapiro, the manager of Andy Kaufman, is yelling at Andy Kaufman because Andy Kaufman, he would purposely bomb, get people real pissed off at him. And the manager's like, what are you, a moron? You're like a kid who goes to school and comes back and brags to his mom, hey, mom, look, I got an F. Look at you, and that's all that is. I vote 100% with the NRA. That means you're a moron. You're a drone. And that's why Elon Musk, he answered this question. They said, who do you think is going to be president in 2028? And, in his own snarky fucking way, he said, well, we should be asking which AI program is going to be president in 2032. Because if you got people just copying and pasting, doing 100% one way or another, yeah, okay, then just make it an AI algorithm and we'll call it a day.
What happened to the times when people wanted to, every generation wants the best, better for the next generation. I remember, we grew up poor and, you want more for your family and stuff that you had. But then you go back and you realize what character it made, how you had whether it's struggle or you watch your family stick together, you watch, good and bad times, I don't know if people are ready to do that. First of all, I'm to blame a little on the youth because they crack too easy, so to speak. Oh, I ain't doing that. We can't get people to work. I remember when I owned a security guard company, I had 100 employees. I couldn't get Americans to work. I really couldn't. I was paying above minimum wage, whatever it was way back then. But I'm paying above a couple bucks more, and you couldn't get them to work. I ain't going to do that. It's not for, who wants to stand there in a booth and
Well, I can't be a hypocrite. I've been fired from 7 fast food jobs.
I
Uh,
love it.
so,
Listen, I
but
just talked to a young kid today, and I actually stopped by a store like that, and I said, that kid was really nice. And he said to me, he goes, "Thank you very much." I said, "Man, good for you. Keep working, young man. Thank
yeah,
you for what you're doing." He was working in a 7-Eleven or something. And yeah, it was a 7-Eleven. And you could see that the words just, I said, "Listen, we all did that. We
you
all
know
did
what, man? I mean, I've made people cry just from being nice. You know, there was a bartender in Chicago that I was like, "Yeah, thank you for what you do." Now, just had a nice conversation, and she just started crying. She's like, "No one ever thanks me. No one ever I got a free beer a couple of years back, and I just started to cry because I was like, no one, because my friend, it's Skinny Dennis, my friend Cassie bartender, had a cold beer waiting for me when I came to town. Like those little things matter so much. And I will say this: I've defended the youth, and I still will, because I think that there's youngsters out there now that are so fucking annoyed with social media, so sick of this bullshit. Everything, you make one mistake, all of a sudden it's on the internet and everyone knows about it, whatever it might be. And I think the trades are coming back. And I do think that there's a large swath of younger people who are like, let's just get back to knowing how to like make shit, because we're going to need electricians. And those jobs are also very high paying jobs now because they're so rare.
Listen, in New York, like my brother, he was making $120 an hour or something, $130 an
Yeah, like a
hour.
lawyer.
No, he was a construction worker.
No, I know, but they're making good pay.
Oh, absolutely. What you said is very, very important there. I think what happened with most young people is, I think here's what I see the young people is, and I'm blaming my generation, really. My generation, not even yours. You're one below me. My generation is the ones that fuck these kids up without giving them any purpose. Whether my dad's generation, the war, they literally, otherwise we're speaking German or Japanese, I guess German. If that happened, I mean, that's a war. That's a war you have to fight or win.
Right.
Not this crap we've been in wars from Afghanistan to this place. I understood Iraq. I understand, with the oil and all that. And listen, people say, "Well, it was over oil." Yeah, good. I don't want oil $6. If we have to go to war, let's do it. Being honest, I mean, I don't
I
want.
mean, I disagree, but I'm proud of your honesty.
I mean, listen, I get it. It wasn't anything but oil and money. But
Of course.
why was America so stupid to not go there and take those oil freaking fields until we got every penny back?
I mean, I didn't know if war was the right way to do it, but I mean, that's definitely the motivation for it. So,
All right, Ben, I'm gonna switch subjects, and you might get mad at me a little.
oh no.
Nah, you're far enough away where you can't grab me. So,
I got long arms.
oh boy, you do. You live in California,
Yes, I'm in sunny Los Angeles.
and I can honestly say, Ben, I'm sorry, I am not a fan of what's going on in California. I've been
In which part? I mean, that's not a shocking revelation to anyone, I don't think.
but Ben, no, take the homeless situation. I have the biggest heart for. I really
Oh,
do.
it's the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. California we've spent billions of dollars, large B, hundreds of millions, billions and billions of dollars. And the homeless population is getting worse. I believe it was 28%. It is absolutely insane. And the worst part, speaking of bureaucracy, is these people keep them poor so they can stay wealthy. And it's devastating. They passed a program where if you're homeless, you can get like $600 a month. But that's not enough to buy you a house. I think I mentioned this on the show before. Not enough to pay your rent. It's just enough for drugs. It's just enough to keep you alive long enough until you OD and the next one comes in. And that's what's so sad. There's a great documentary, and I mentioned this again, I think, Poverty Inc. Check Poverty Inc. out. It's fascinating. The amount of air quotes nonprofits that are all intertwined. It's a global network. It's worth so much money. It's one of the biggest industries in the world, and it's all predicated upon human suffering. And if you don't have people in prison or on the streets, then you don't have those people that control the strings getting all that money.
But Ben, how do you fix it? I mean, I heard one proposal, which was actually pretty good in my book, is get these big companies, these mega companies, the Google, the big ones, cook up some guilt here and you know, try to straighten this. Well, obviously, mental health is a big issue.
Yeah, of course, mental health, but it's a lot easier to get mental health help if you can afford a rent. A lot of people are one paycheck away from homelessness. And so when we think about, and also another pet peeve of mine, this is what the liberals do that annoys me. It's not homeless, it's unhoused. I don't give a fuck what you call it. Let's solve it. They spend half of the conversation saying it's unhoused. What's the difference? Homeless, unhoused. It's the same thing. It's the same fucking thing. Anyway, but if there was, to your point, if you're building a building in a neighborhood, in a community, and rent is about to go up because you're doing it, there's a thing called the Starbucks effect. Starbucks literally looks at places that are about to pop off, about to be gentrified. They put a Starbucks there. Rent goes up 125%. They know that. So there needs to be then a mandatory X factor, where they have reasonable rent. So some people are paying a certain amount of money that they can afford, but you cannot just oust full communities because all of a sudden their rent goes up tenfold. That's why people it's not that confusing.
Ben, I mean, they have rent.
They have it. It's like 15% of new buildings have to be under something. Well, it's trash. It is not nearly enough.
Even in states like Florida, wherever it is, it boggles my mind why I see cities like where I live, they keep letting these, construction companies and these building companies build developments, but they're not giving them tax for the roads they're destroying with these dump trucks. And they want all the taxpayers to pay for that instead of giving them a levy on that. It's very easily done.
It's it's insane. That's why real estate is probably the most corrupt of all the corporations. I can't tell you how many huge buildings came up in Williamsburg, Brooklyn when I was living there, and no one is there. They're basically vacant. And without a doubt, they're just money laundering.
You're talking about not like in downtown Brooklyn?
I'm talking about in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. There is a thing. It's on Metropolitan. It's right by
the area. I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah, one of my favorite places, Rock and Roll, a great little bar. They play rock and roll music. But they built this massive fucking thing. It looks like a stupid naval vessel. And no one's in it. I don't think anyone lives in it. And it's just there as a tax write-off or just a place for people to hide their money. And there's a lot of that. There's so much land. I was just driving through fucking Kansas. There's nothing there. You drive through this country, there are so many places that you could build affordable housing, that you could, and from there, they create communities. They'll work and everything else.
Farming, they feed them, they need stuff.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Ben, of course, all you got to do is, just like we do, both of us, fly across the country a couple of times. You go look down and it's all barren land, really. I mean, when you think about it.
And if you got enough time and you're blessed enough to drive, God, please do it. Because
I never drove that. I drove all the way to South Dakota.
You almost did it. You should have gone to North Dakota. That's where I was born.
Really?
More cows than people, buddy.
You know what's in North Dakota?
What?
In Bismarck, North Dakota.
What?
The Raccoon Museum. You know what that is?
I would assume I do now, yeah.
The honeymooners.
Oh, I see. All right, old man. All right, old man.
Yeah, I think I aged myself with that one, Ben. Ben, here's a problem I have with California, and obviously I feel for homeless, but how can you also have a house and then have a guy with a homeless tent right in front of your driveway, and that's legal?
And you can't do anything about it. It's such a
it really is. I don't know.
It's ruined.
To be honest, but
the sad thing is, it has ruined the middle class. They're not in Beverly Hills. They're not in places where the wealthy that make these laws live. And so they're in neighborhoods that are already, on a razor's edge of survival. And then all of a sudden, all this starts. And, we're pack animals, and people can normalize things very fast. We can all of a sudden say, well, yeah, tents are everywhere. It's normal. That's normal. That's normal. And until you step away and you're like, wait, what the hell happened here? you'll never get the problem fixed. It's been normalized to the point where it just is what it is, and we know it can be fixed. Because look at San Francisco when fucking the leader of China, Xi Jinping's over. They had that place looking like it was squeaky clean, like it was the bathroom of a Starbucks that had never been used. I mean, they had it looking like it was the best damn place in the country. They can do it, and they choose not to, and that's what's so upsetting.
Well, listen, I went down when I was in California the last time, second time, whatever. I go there a lot now. Is I ended up going to Skid Row with Nick, and we did a bit. I don't know if you watched it. I went in a tent. I really went down.
I did watch that one. Yes,
I wanted to understand the homeless problem.
it was really good.
Obviously, mental issues made. This, you remember the guy? He was an undercover getting the aliens and the gay aliens. So he said, whack. I mean,
Aliens. All right. You never know.
Wait, gay aliens. Yeah, he was undercover special agent, and he was getting tapping. Wow. But
right.
The smell of that place. I mean, I don't know the answer. That's what's kind of confusing me, because usually you can say, put a little this here, a little this there. Let's stop that. You're right. There's no middle class. I mean, really, the pricing is just, there's no middle class. It's the haves and have nots. We're no better anymore. I love my country. Let me emphasize that. But right now, I don't think we're much better than what's going on all over the world. We don't have that working. I'm so glad you said that, because I agree. And I tell young people, man, we need carpenters and plumbers and electricians and
please.
Carpenters.
And I say that because I can't do jack shit. My friend Kyle helped me set on my Patreon. I was like, buddy, thank you so much. I can't do shit.
Man, I can't do that.
I can't do anything.
You are. That's lazy. I'm calling you out.
Hey, you call it whatever you want. I told my mom. My mom said when I was hanging out with her in Florida over all the bullshit I had to go through. She said, she said, well, what do you want to do, Benjamin? I said, well, I just got to get back to doing radio. I have no discernible talents, Mom. She said, yeah, okay.
Your own mother said that. That is funny.
Everyone has certain talents and God-given abilities, and so I have so much respect for someone that can build a house, that can do carpentry, electrician work, all those things that are just my grandfather. He used to build houses. It's so awesome to me. I can't, I can't build a gingerbread house, bro. If everyone was like me, tents would be not even existent. We would be sleeping on the floor in a cave.
Ben, it's funny because what you said, like, I always keep thinking, like, with California, why California? It's got to be the weather, right?
San Francisco's cold.
Then why is it California? What's California doing different than the whole?
Well, again, they offer that incentive, and they don't. It's not criminalized behavior. It's become so that you can live. I mean, back in the day, you would get incarcerated regularly, things like that. Nowadays, because it's allowed to fester, you have full communities of people who've known each other for years, so it's a culture, it's a subculture that's become so ingrained and normalized because of California's policies, and they do it under the guise of goodwill. But meanwhile, this is what's so disgusting. They're secretly doing it because they want to line their pockets.
You say that, and you're making a lot of sense. I just get so frustrated when I look around the whole country, and I travel a lot like you. And again, my only thought was, well, then why not Hawaii? Or if you want money, like you said, the $600, you can become an Alaskan resident, and in 6 months you'll get a lot more. I think it's $2,000 now. Every Alaskan resident gets about $2,000.
Yeah, and also, California is just a huge state as well. So the population is so massive, so that's gonna.
You got Texas, you got Montana, and then California.
Yeah, but population, I'm talking.
Oh.
Yeah, there ain't no one in Montana. I mean, that's the Montana, Alaska, and Hawaii are the only 3 states I haven't been to.
It's funny. I was gonna buy land way back when I was a bad guy in Montana, and I should have. But did you know Montana's not that cheap to live? I watched a video on the 50 states from the highest what it takes to live to the lowest. Alabama is at 45,000 as a medium income, and you can live comfortably as a single person.
Okay.
Hawaii was the highest at 112,000. That
For a single person?
for a single person.
Ooh,
I will send you the video. It's very interesting.
yeah, please do.
They
Where was
go every
Callie in
state,
that?
and they break it down like the 30th, 20th, and where you were at. Like Florida's terrible. It's gotten expensive. People think, oh, there's no taxes. Well, I'm also paying what I just paid in electric bill and what the rents are. I really, really do feel bad for young people, man. I mean, young, like the 25 trying to get out of college, starting out somewhere. I mean, it's crazy right now. They can't afford rent. Did you know? I'll tell you a great story. I go to the Keys a lot. Well, I've talked to a lot of people in the Keys. Keys, I love Key West and Key West.
Yeah.
Did you know they're having to close down restaurants now? And here's where it's hurting the rich. They outpriced renting and home ownership or anything down in the Keys that they can't get the workers to work. Who's going to go down there? They can't live. They can't.
Right.
They got to have 3 or 4 of them to a 2-bedroom place.
Ugh.
And they're working for that, and the rents are crazy.
Right.
So now these owners are saying, what am I going to do? I got nobody to work. Now these rich people want to buy their $2 million little cottage. But now you want to go out to eat. There's nobody. You guys you outmade the place so expensive. You can't afford the workers that are there.
Exactly. Who's going to give you your lobster bisque if no one can afford to live there that would serve it? And also, you know, it's funny. People talk about American culture, and this is one area that I think is really sad. People are pissed off. You know, sometimes you get a server at a restaurant or something that's kind of, you know, rude or whatever, and they kind of have a right to be. You know, they're fucking, they're annoyed. They are annoyed. They're broke. They're living with multiple roommates, and they have to deal with greedy people coming in and demanding all this bullshit while they're making pennies. I can understand
Ben,
frustration.
Don't do that. Ben, let me explain what happened to me. And now you'll understand.
Oh, I'm in prison with Larry now.
Now you see the bars?
I don't like it. Also, this is a horrible look. It's a horrible look for jail. If I ever go, I'm getting my beard back. And I'm not going, by the way. So don't worry.
Talk to me first, Ben. Don't go.
Okay.
Here's what really I disagree with, and I mean this. I've been through a lot in my life, and I'm not, I don't complain or anything of that nature. Well, but a lot of my friends are judges and chiefs of police. It's crazy now. So one judge says to me, Larry, he goes, you're one of the people I really think you deserve to be bitter. Boy, I stopped him in front of everybody. I said, hold on, Judge. Look, people just wait. I said, that's wrong. Everything that happened to me has made me stronger to try to help other people. So if I've been through abuse, I've been through the prison, the whole
right.
A zillion things. And I don't look at it as like, oh, fucking me, that kind of, I'm bitter, fuck the life, give me the right straw or whatever. Everything that happened, I really turn it around. And that's why I teach young people about not going to prison. What's going to happen? What can happen? Even guards that want to get into the guard, be a correctional officer today, they'll call me.
Yeah, what kind of personality is that? That's always been an interest. I mean,
some of them are good people, and they actually go in to try to help. Obviously, they get jaded by the system, like most cops or most.
I would imagine.
But that excuse to be bitter is that's the lose away. And I could have said that a long time ago, Ben. And fuck that. I get madder to win.
The only thing I would say, I agree with you, but also just have some empathy sometimes. If someone, not you, I'm just saying people in general, people in the service industry, bartenders, have some empathy if maybe things aren't the best, but just remember that it's not easy to make a living. That's all I was trying to say.
100%. And I know you have. Ben, you're great. You're hard. I guess I always said that. You're hard. I know you a while now. We get to know. There's no question. You got to have that. We both of us have empathy for people. I can't understand people who don't have it. It pisses me off when I see somebody who thinks they're better than other people. Period.
Oh, pisses me off.
Some rich person in their little whatever Mercedes says, "I'll blow your fucking car up next, you fucking prick." But
right.
No, 100%. I look at a person how they treat the staff or the waiters is how how I judge them. Actually,
Absolutely. I
I
learned
see
that.
somebody talking nasty to somebody like that. I get mad. I say, "Who the fuck you think you are?" Then they
Yep.
look at me. I go, "He's a human being. Who the fuck you think?" And I get mad. Then they
It's a
think I'm
deal
this-
breaker. It's a friend deal breaker. I mean, I've
It
lost
is.
a couple of people who when people become when people all of a sudden start to think of themselves as like elite or something like that, it is so stupid and we're all in the grave already. So the fact that you think you're better than anybody is it's such a red flag and it really pisses me off.
Don't judge. And a little reminder, everybody out there, I am talking with Ben Kissel, who has his show coming out, the Ben
Yes.
Kissel Show, Monday, June 3rd at what time, Ben?
Well, let's see. It'll be coming out on Tuesday on YouTube. I'll just be recording it on Monday, and then my Patreon Ben Kissel channel. You can check that out, and it's $7 a month, and then there'll be 8 shows. That's less than $1 a show.
Wow, Ben, I like that idea. I haven't did. I give early access, but I like your ideas. Listen, you
I don't know, buddy. I'm trying to figure it out.
And you come from a very big podcast. You're in this game for a while. You know what you're doing. You're smart
I'm trying.
as heck. And,
Yeah,
and humble. You're very humble man.
Watch this. This is gonna slowly go back. It's gonna. I want to get a little gizzard. I'm gonna lose some weight. Don't worry.
How much you want to get down there?
I want to get down to a measly 275.
For being 6'9", I think that's pretty good.
That was my high school weight. That's when I was a wrestler.
That was my high school weight.
It was, but I wasn't even. That's the thing. I was wrestling, and my coach wanted me to be about 270 to 275. Intimidating. That's the max weight. But then after high school wrestling, I kept on eating like I was still wrestling, and then all of a sudden, boom! I went up, and I've been down, and now I'm up again and down a little bit. So anyway, it's been a roller coaster. I'm the Tony Wilson of podcasting.
Little note, Ben, that's going to happen for the rest of your life.
Oh, I know. I'm aware of the hell that this meat form is. And
I went up to 305, and that was my heaviest. And I got down to, when I got out of the joint, I was 191 pounds. In buck shape, man. So I can't maintain that 190. That's like starvation for me. I mean, you were in your whole body was in fight mode, right? I mean, for 11 years, right? So yeah, that's a great way to put it. I never put it in fight mode, but you are on edge. You live.
I can't imagine that you're thinking about blooming onions, during the day when you're just like constantly. I mean, it sounds very fucking stressful. But I'm happy that you made it, Lair, and I'm happy that you're helping me out. You've helped me out so much.
Ben, let everybody know. I remember meeting Ben for the first time. We went to a restaurant. We ended up seeing. Wasn't it Tom Hanks and his wife were there?
It was
Tom Hanks.
It was it Hanks?
Yes.
And then yes, okay.
It was very nice.
Yes.
He said hello and all that. Wait, what restaurant was that?
Smokehouse.
Oh, the Smokehouse.
Yes,
Very
iconic.
good.
Very good.
Yeah,
I spilled a bottle of wine.
That's okay. We drank enough. That was we had a great time. And I remember there's still young guys that I consider them like my nephews. They're your biggest fans. They are so waiting for you to launch this thing. And
that makes me feel awesome,
everything tomorrow. And they'll be Patreons, guarantee it. Great young people. This is actually my good friend Billy Casera, who is 60 Minutes. He does a lot of work for 60 Minutes.
Yeah.
And Don Hewitt was his wife, his father, and all. And their kids love you. They love your all of them. You listen to. When I went on your show once, they go, "Oh my God, you're a Ben Kissel. You got to ask him this." I remember when I met you, I had so much in my head. I said, I remember I went on No Jumper. I went. Have you been on Dope as Yola? No. You need to go on. I'm gonna give him a call.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Great show. You know what his show is, right?
No, I don't.
Dope as Yola is he's a podcaster. Really good. His name is Thomas.
Okay.
And, it's all about pot. It's like one of the first that has everybody.
Oh, great.
The biggest pot show, and I had him on. I was on there for a couple hours, 2, 3 hours, whatever it was. Great guy, great show. He's in California where you are.
Awesome.
He always said to me, "Larry, if you know somebody great, I'm gonna give him a call," because obviously, first of all, he's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. He actually was one of the guys that left. You remember what was going on with podcasters when they had this company come in and try to manage them all with their stuff, and they all lost a lot of money?
No.
What happened? Nick, do you know the exact case of that?
Yeah, they were.
Come on, you can come in, Nick. This is the real deal.
It's the real deal.
They were like managing their sponsors and finding them sponsors, and then they weren't paying out, and then they kept getting like another month back.
Ugh.
He lost millions. I mean,
Yeah, like
Oh
Theo
my
Von
God.
lost, like,
Theo
4
Vaughn
million.
and
I think in all it was like 50 million.
was it
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
What
didn't hear
happened was
that.
this
That
company came in.
sucks.
You can look it up. This company came in.
He was like recording himself on private islands and jets. And
Yeah, the
stuff,
guy
and
who
losing
started
money.
this company, you know, he wasn't paying the creators, us, and a lot of them went. Thomas, I didn't go.
What was happening was they were finding a creator and then paying that next one with that money is what they were doing, and then they just got too far.
It was
back.
like a
So,
Ponzi scheme.
it was just a scheme. It was a Madoff scheme.
Well, I don't know if it started out that way, but I remember Thomas left. The best movie ever made to get out of there. Theo Vaughn is suing him for $500,000. And
Oh my goodness
yeah,
gracious.
a lot of people. And
So many fucking scumbags in this business. I
man,
hate
I've
it.
been lucky so far. I didn't get into the NFT thing. I had a great opportunity. People approaching me with the NFT thing, you know, and I listened to my audience, and I got so much pushback. I don't know why I listened, but you know, when Logan Paul, all those guys got hit with that.
Yeah.
I was away from that. I never, and I've knocked wood. And this scam too, sort of. And I don't know if it's just me being an idiot not making money, or it's just luck. I don't know, you know. So
I mean, you got to be so careful. There are so many hustlers out there, so many backbiters, and that's one of the
new
things I've
business,
learned.
you know. YouTube
What?
and content creator are the new business.
I know.
You know, like, and we you know, I get it, and I don't like, you know, that hustle end of it. I don't understand why a lot of those big names just gave it away and trusted the guy to do all that, you know.
Because people want to trust people
Yeah, but you know, you got to
until proven otherwise, and it sucks. And I'm trying to keep an open heart, and you know, I have PTSD from what I've been through, but I'm still trying to work on that because it sucks, man. I wish you could trust people. But that's not a country. That's what this country has come to, though. It's a bunch of people who don't want to see, who think that there's a bunch of people who think that they're going to do better if you fail, as opposed to realizing it doesn't matter if I do.
Boats rise.
Yep.
With the tide.
Exactly.
You know, it's funny, Ben, because I got to give you this, and say, I mean this. I give you so much credit for keeping the attitude you have, knowing what I know, at least a little what I know. I'm a I could get hot-headed where, you know, things are said and I you know, that's me. And people take things out of context, and then that's why someone said to me, Larry, you know, what about you get canceled? I said, go fuck yourself. Because the only one's going to cancel me is me. In fact, I said to this a couple of friends of mine, I go, will you watch me? They go, of course. What do you give a fuck what they? And I took that attitude. Listen, I'm not a prejudiced person, so I love that. My mom, I give her credit, 91 years old, Ben.
Yeah.
Zero prejudice in our family. And never in my life, my mother would take care of blacks, gays, loved she still does.
Same with my family, yeah.
You know, right, your mom. And I look at that, and I'm so lucky. But you've been through a lot, and you're keeping a pretty good positive attitude.
I'm working on it.
And I know it can get rough. We all do that. You know,
life is really hard, and emotions are very real. And yeah, you know, I got a lot of DMs.
People lie on you. Or twist the truth, or whatever they do to make
it's
them.
Interesting.
It kind of like, you know, I want to grab someone and say, you know, Fucking tell me that in my fucking room, motherfucker. Look at me. You gonna get me
Yeah,
mad.
no, I know. I know. And
But
it's
good for you. Good
but
for
anyway,
you.
we're working on it, and that's just modern society. But we got to keep positive, because who the fuck gives a shit at the end of the day? I mean, to be honest with you, I'm positive because we're already all dead.
Well,
Who
you know, Ben,
cares?
let's leave that on a positive. Ben has one of the most positive shows he had on Mega Networks. He's back Tuesday. This coming Tuesday is July 4th, right? June 4th.
June 4th, it'll be on my Patreon. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It will be on my YouTube page. And then also go to the Patreon, $7 a month, 8 shows, and that'll be super fun. And yeah.
Are you gonna have any kind of menu? Like I look at podcasts, like I'll turn on podcasts. That's all we do here. And I'll look and I'll see Joe Rogan's guest or topic or something, and okay, I'm in. Or it depends.
Yeah,
In other words, not everybody. I like topics.
right.
Are very engaging, so it's easy to like.
You know, it's going to be a work in progress. I have a lot of actor friends out here. I have a lot of friends that are super talented that I've met. And I told them whatever they want to do, the door is open. I just want this to be fun. So if you want to do, if there's my friend Scott is a great actor. He wants to do a character. I said, buddy, come on, do a character.
Well,
I want this to be open for the arts. It's actually, the studio is actually in an acting community. It's in a little acting, whatever, I forget what it's called. So I just want this to be where people can show their talents, and me as well.
Well, what I'd like to do, and we'll do this right now.
Also, Larry, we're doing a nude segment. It's
I'm
called,
in.
yeah, Nooners with Boomers. And
I did that. Ben, what I would like to do, and we're gonna do it here, we'll say it. I'm gonna send you a few boxes of cigars.
I love it.
For your guests on you.
Yes.
Then maybe you could talk about the cigar a little bit, promote it. I'll send you a few lighters, and you get some nice guests. You'll have a cigar for them and stuff like that.
Oh, dude, I love it. Seriously, no joke. The best cigar. Oh, how do I'm invisible.
Yeah, I know.
The best cigar on the market. It's just about to be smoked. I love them. And I never really thought I was going to truly enjoy a cigar as much as this. So,
well,
get the Crooked Diamonds.
I got to do that to support your show. And because I'm dying to hear it myself, to be honest. I really am. Because I like
it'll be just like this.
And a lot of, I know. And a lot of people, like I said, I'm going to be letting them know myself, guys. I know that what when you're on, because people, are you going to have there's no calling because it's a podcast, right?
No, I'm actually, so I have a meeting tomorrow, or I guess today, it'll be Friday here. And I'm going to figure all of that stuff out. We're going to have a tech run through. I'm going to have a nice little set. So I could imagine it's possible. Everything's possible. So we'll see.
It is possible because I looked into it, but you're so good. I named this Real Deal just to cover my fuck ups, because as you see, Nick, come here.
Oh, dude, but that's what's so perfect about it. My thing is, when it comes to radio, and this is what I love, right? If fucking film was never, I want to be the wizard behind the curtain. I don't want anyone to see me, but now I know I have to be shown, so whatever. That just is what it is. But what was I gonna say? But that's what it's about. Every time before I would start recording Top Hat or whatever show I was doing, people are in their car, they're cooking, it's just about having a nice conversation. Obviously, it's a little performative, slightly elevated, but not over the top. So people just want to have that connection. And that's what I like as well with my radio programs, the podcasts that I like. I just want to feel that connection like yours, and that makes it real. When that's life. Not everything goes perfectly.
It's some of the best feelings I ever get, and I read comments on the YouTube channel. We don't monetize YouTube here because we get the other things. We get sponsors, how that works. But I love when people just say, Larry, I relax so much listening to that segment, or when they write back and say, that sucked, or Larry, you got better. I remember when I first started, Ben, I was the worst. I listened to myself a few times and what the fuck am I doing on this thing? Because I'm a New Yorker, I'm outward, and I don't let people. I've gotten a little better. I still got to work on it. I'm working on a lot of things.
I think you're doing pretty good, bud.
But like that's a feeling because you have that. You've been in that. You know, you guys were on for a while, weren't you?
Oh yeah, and it's been a work in progress. No one's anyone. Oh, natural talent doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
You can work at it.
You work
But-
at it, you get better. Listen, I can tell you that fact. Everything I've done from whatever. So, but
Yeah.
did you see that guy, Ben? There's a guy behind you coming down the stairs. No, not. But we
What?
are in a jail cell, and we do have to go to.
All
count
right,
time.
my dog is going freaking nuts. I think he's got a marmot he's hunting.
It's count time, Ben. That means you have to go to your cell and stand up before.
Oh God, dude, I that's so triggering. I don't even know why. What a nightmare. Also, 6'7". I think my head would be hitting the top of the cell.
It would.
Oh, what a
And the
nightmare.
size,
All right, it's
Ben,
not
and the
happening.
size. I was in a cell where it was 8 foot by 6 foot.
It's called a coffin. That's called a coffin.
Please, I don't know how I did it. Ben, I want to thank you again, buddy. First of all, everybody, Ben Kissel here. The Ben Kissel Show is this Tuesday, June 4th. Check it
Yep.
out. We're going to have a link in this video that you're listening or whatever. You go check it out, and we'll have a link to your show, Ben. You have a link for us, I hope.
Yeah, it's just going to be on my YouTube. It's just Ben
Okay,
Kissel
and he
on
has a
YouTube.
Patreon. You got to check. He's giving, listen, $1 a show, less than $1 a show. Wow. And for a Patreon, so you can't beat that. $7, and you get $7
Yeah.
a month, and you get 8 shows extra.
I chose 7. I just Googled the average pay for Patreon, and it was $7. So okay, $7.
You're not gonna have tiers.
No, it's just me. It's just a one-man show. I wouldn't have enough. I wouldn't have enough to give.
No, I listen.
You know.
We've gotten to the point where we just do certain things like the early release or something like
Yeah,
that.
and the last thing I'm going to do is promise something that I can't deliver. So
Well, Ben, first of all, we wish you luck. We'll be by your side. I'll be sending
Thank
you
you.
stuff so you'll have it. And
awesome.
listen, your mom, say hi to your mom here. in
I
Florida,
will.
give her a call. And,
I'll send her the link. They love it. They've listened to all of them.
and the dog. I love you guys.
Yes.
Look at
I
mine.
love it.
You see?
I
Well-
can't see him. He's in the pound.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I
It's
fucked
all gone. Oh, I'm alone.
All right, everybody, you can see I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Nick. We'll talk to you guys soon, okay?
Ben, thank you again. Stay in touch. I'll be listening to you Tuesday. Have a great day, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you, Larry. I love you, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
But it's definitely something you should hear.
This is The Real Deal with Larry Lawton.
Talk to you soon.